Good evening, everybody. Lovely to see you here. Thank you for joining me. Um, yeah, busy weekend down here. So I hope that you're all well and everything is going well with you all. I have got a new range from Sue Wilson Creative Expression to show you today. I'm going to be showing you the whole range to start off with, and then taking just one of the dies. Well, actually, that's a bit of a fib, two of the dies, and making a couple of cards for you. So I hope that you've got your cup of tea and are just sitting down for a nice Sunday evening, if it's evening where you are. I know it's not where some of you are. And see what we've got. So this is where you need to go to if you would like to get any of this. So this is the website that goes with our Maximum Craft YouTube channel. So maximumcrafts.com is where you need to race off to. Well, no, not race off to. Watch this as well. But the good thing is that this is always there for you. So that's why we like to do a YouTube video as opposed to a Facebook Live, so that you can always see it. So that's the website. So Sue Wilson, I'm sure many of you, most of you will have heard of her before, but she is a chief designer for Creative Expressions, and she's done all sorts of things, been going quite some years, about 15 I think. But the style that she's used in this new collection is sort of like old style Sue Wilson, and I have to say I really love that old style. So there's 8 I think altogether, and then there are 4 sentiments. So let me show you the sentiments first. So we have got, these are the mini shadowed sentiments. So you have 2 dies in the set, you've got the words itself and then the shadow at the background, and these are more like, instead of a happy birthday type of thing, they're a bit longer. I don't know how you say that other than that. So thanks for all you do. Sending a happy hello. Happiness is time spent with a friend. And if you look at that, you can see that that's the sort of size of it. I think it says it is in inches, nearly 4 inches by 1. So that sort of thing. And then I smile when I think of you. Now I smile when I look at that sentiment because I'm not quite sure what that means myself. I smile when I think of you. It could be I smirk when I think of you, or you make me happy when I think of you. I don't know. Anyways, that's the sentiments. So there are 4 mini shadowed sentiments. Then there are a couple of the border collection dies. So we've got, this one's called Decorative Drapes, which are really pretty. I'll turn it over and you can see that you have got 5 dies here altogether. So you've got like a loopy, and then not a straight bit obviously, but a plain piece, then a bit of lattice work and another straight piece, and then you've got the little circles, which gives. Now some of these dies are already on a sort of a limited amount, I'm afraid. So I think that they will be coming back in stock, but they only come out on Tuesday, and I think that they've been surprised possibly with how popular they've been already. So that's the decorative drapes. Then we go on to the coronet lace. Now these dies here are actually, you don't make them up, if you see what I mean. They are as they are. So when you cut them out, they will cut out all in one. So you've got 3 very pretty edges, and I thought they would look really nice on the easy frames as a sort of like a little embellishment there. So that is the coronet lace. Then now again, if you've been into Sue Wilson, this is her old type of style. This is frames and tags, and this one is Gloria. There are 4 dies in here, and we will be looking at this one in a little bit later during the week. We will be looking at this one as well. So again, very, very pretty outline die there, plus the inners, 4 dies for our Gloria. We've got little Cora, who again, that lovely pattern, you may remember that in the decorative drapes, possibly, with the little circles there. Really pretty. I can see that all being these little flowers all being coloured in blue. Why blue? I don't know, but that's really pretty there. And that one is not quite 5 inches by 3.5. Hazel. Now hazel is virtually out of stock already, so I'm holding on for hazel. I wanted to show you her. Hopefully she will be back in stock for next week, because she's very, very pretty little hazel. 6 dies in total for that one, and a sort of a daisy idea for that for hazel. Then we've got our Alice. Alice is 2 dies. You've got the outer one and the inner one. If I show you that, lots of pattern going on there. Almost like a snowflake, isn't it? But very, very pretty for Alice. Then Della. Now, delightful Della, I think she should have been called, because this one is beautiful. With some sort of anemone type things, I think you call those flowers. But again, very, very pretty. 5 inches by 4 inches, that one. And then these are the 2 that I'm going to work with for you for today. This one's called Lena. This has 3 dies in it. So you've got all of this piece here is 1 die. Then you've got a straight one just as a border, and then the flowers in between. So that's Lena. And I've teamed it up with just one of the looped rectangles. Sorry, the light shines on it. So this is one in a selection, because she's done quite a few of these, which are the looped designs. So you've got the squares, the circles, ovals, and now we've got the rectangles. The largest one in this is 7 inches by about 6. That's only roughly. And I have used this second one in on my card, and this little beauty. Now, as I said, there are 2 cards that I'm going to make for you, because I wanted to show you what I would consider 2 easy ways of using the die. So I'm just going to pop that one to one side and get these out for you and show you what I mean. So as I said, 3 dies in this one. And oh, I forgot to mention about the packaging. So the taken off the plastic now, but that's it. That and a plastic bag, similar to what I do actually, but none of the fancy plastic and all that sort of thing. So that hard plastic shell, which I grew to really dislike, but now we've gone on to this style and it's so much nicer. So we have got our outer piece. So this is what we could call die number 1, and that will, if you cut that out, give you a solid in the middle there, because there's no cutting edge inside, so that will give you a solid piece. Then you've got that straight edge here, so if you put that in the middle, you would end up with a frame, because you'd have a hole in the middle. And then if you've got this one, which is your flowers, you would then end up with that sort of florally bit in the middle, something perhaps a bit like this. So that is how it all cuts out. Isn't it pretty? I think it's really lovely. So how I've teamed this up now, clearly this really lends itself, I think there's an up and a down, isn't there? Yeah, this really lends itself to being paper pieced. And what I mean by that is you cut it out in one colour, which I've done in black, and then you cut out this panel only, so just this little bit here. Oh, can't get hold of it. Just this bit, you cut that out in maybe a pink or a yellow, orange, or whatever colour you want your flower to be, and then you simply paper piece by popping a little bit of glue in all of the petals and then pop your colour back into them. So that would be paper piecing. However, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do it a slightly different way today. So 2 ways really of colouring it, and perhaps maybe a little bit less time consuming and maybe a little easier. Who knows? So what I've done is I've used for this particular die, for this particular card, I've used all 3 dies, 1, 2 and 3, to cut out this whole pad. I've then taken a piece of white hammered card, so that's from black, I've taken a piece of white hammered card and I've used the die number 2, if we counted the outside die as die number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dies in total. I've used this one, die number 2, in order to cut out this rectangle. So you can see the sort of size that I'm looking at. Okay. Now what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to take my die cut and I'm going to actually, for quickness, put some spray adhesive on it. But obviously, if you were at home, you needn't do that. You could put ordinary glue. But the crucial bit is that you do need to get really every single bit stuck on it. So I'm just going to give that a spray. And pop that, more or less, if I can, into the middle of my piece here. Whoops. So I just gently pop all that down. So you could even leave it like that, to be honest with you. It's pretty to be just left like that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Copic markers and I will use my usual colours, really, rose pink, and I'm just going to colour my petals of my flowers in by just colouring through the die cut. Now, because I've used black as my outer piece, you're not going to see if I go over the edge very much at all. If, of course, you used a different colour, slightly darker colour, or you know, darker than the pen that you're using, you may well see that, and therefore it might not be ideal. But don't be put off, because even if you go over the edges, it really doesn't matter. And all you simply do is, having finished it, coloured it, and you're happy with how it goes, cut yourself out another piece. You could just do the middle piece then and stick that absolutely over the top, and then that will cover up any little mistakes that you might have done by colouring over your black outline. It's as simple as that, really. So you could do paper piecing, but if you're not keen on paper piecing, got to work out which is a bud and which isn't. So the dies, this card here is not going to fit into an average size English card base. And so all I've done is I've taken a 7x7 card blank and I've simply trimmed a little bit off, about an inch off, I think. So that's how I've gone about doing this one. But I would say otherwise, the size of the collection dies, apart from the looped rectangles, all fit really nicely into a 5x7 or a 6x6 card blank. That's what I would have said that they were kind of made for. Now I've done that very quickly, so I'm just trying to check. So that is my, I think I need to do it there as well. Now I'm going to get carried away, so I do apologise. I haven't even looked up to see if anyone's asking any questions. I apologise for that if I'm not. I will in a second. So if I've missed something, I will go back. So I'm just being very quick here, obviously, but if you're at home, you can, if you're into your colouring, you can do a little bit more in depth. I say this colour is running out a little bit. I have to get another one of these. Clearly one that I use all the time. So there's that. And then I will grab my usual green, which is this one, greyish yellow. And there are just a few little leaves which will just help to pick out the actual pattern itself. So again, got to try and find them. Paper piecing, brilliant. But if you're not that worried, want something a bit quicker maybe, then maybe, I'm going to put that there even if it's not supposed to be, maybe you want to do something like that. Now, I'm going to bring in my card blank. So I've then, from my piece, from my looped rectangles, I've then cut a piece of card, which was, you know, I didn't even measure it. I just put it onto my black piece of card and saw that it was just about the right size that I wanted. But I will grab, hold on, let me just tell you, it is 13.5 wide by 16.5 down, and that is going to go straight onto there. I'm only going to put glue on. I'm not going to worry about doing it on the loop bits. They can go onto there. So this is a very flat card. I think that it lends itself really well to having jewels and bits and pieces, but I won't put that on whilst we're here today. I'll put that on before I take some photographs. But if you see what I mean, you've got some little dots here, lend itself beautifully to some pearls or some gems or something. So that is just colouring it by hand, not being over careful, but I think you could see that that was really easy to do, and then it could be any colours that you want. Right, hold on a minute. Stupid question alert. I've just said that. Trust me, Sarah. If you use all 3 dyes, why doesn't the centre fall out? Oh, Sarah, you are just excellent in thinking that, aren't you? Because you don't use the 3rd dye. Of course you don't. Don't be silly. That was a deliberate mistake. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. No, you don't. You don't use the middle one. But well spotted, Sarah. Yes, you are on the ball. So no, it's only the outer one and the inner one for this one. I can't help it. If you'd had the same day as I had, you would understand, but not, yeah. Oh, gold. So yeah, I didn't use all the dyes for this one. I just used the outer one and then the inner one, because indeed it would fall out. You're quite right. Anyway, nevertheless, do you like it? It wasn't a stupid question, really. It was a stupid thing to point, well, not a stupid thing to point out to me. It was, you are stupid. I think I like it because it's pink, to be honest with you, which is a bit, yeah, I was going to put some jewels on there. Can I? Yeah. I got to do it. Sorry. I got to put a little bit of glue. Now, the gems that I'm going to use have got glue on them, but I want to make sure that they stay. I think I'm going to go for pearls. Just, I was thinking that would be the size for that, but I don't think it is. That's the size for that. Oh, yeah. Sorry, that makes up for me for being stupid, doesn't it? So, yeah. I like the idea of having the pearls so that we've got them all different sizes, because then something like this fits in really well, doesn't it? Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. So that is if we used the much, not all 3. That was just testing you. Do you know what? I can see you sitting there saying, it can't, Maxine, stop it. You're getting it wrong. But good job I looked up then when I did, didn't I? There you go. There's some, not jewels, some pearls, that one. So that's card number 1. Now, card number 2 is quite different. Maybe ornate-ish, but let's show you what I mean by the second card. So what am I going to use for that one? Let me just grab the things. So this time I'm only going to use those 2, and I really am using that one this time. So what I've done to start off with is I've already cut one, and I've used some white card, and I've cut out with just that plain piece, just the outline, which will give me a backing. Okay, so that's just a plain piece of white cut out with that. Then onto a piece of black. Let's grab hold of it. I'm then going to put both of the dies together. So the outer piece and the flowers in the centre. Let's grab my tape. I'm just going to tape them into place, and I'm just going to pop that through my machine. Whoops. And then whilst that's going through, I'll show you that I've got a 5x7 card blank, and I've got a piece of 12 by 17 black card, which I've used my Tim Holtz, I was going to say what it's called, Tim Holtz deckled edge trimmer, and cut it out with that, so that I think you can possibly see. Can you see that? That it's got sort of like a, as it says, a deckled edge. Okay. So as always, just check that you have gone all the way through with it, but this one has. So all is well. I'm going to take my brush. Just take all those bits out. And I have also cut out a piece of white card. I've used the same white card. So this happens to be a piece of linen card, which I had left over. But it really doesn't matter. But the main thing is, I'm sure you have come across that yourself, that when you use a piece of white card or a piece of black card, how you can have a different color of black and white, I don't know, but they are. And so if you don't use the same type, they could really shout at you, or they shout at me anyway, for the fact that there would be two different shades of white. It's not really a shade, is it? But you know what I mean. So subsequently, that's my piece of card, which is 11.5 centimeters by 16. So that's ready to go in the center there. But not quite, because I'm going to do something else to that in just a minute. So here's my two pieces. So I cut out, as I said, my white piece, and I've cut out my coloured piece. So I'm going to put the two together, because they should be and are exactly the same size, because I was using the same dies. And you can see my flowers there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pencil, and I'm just going to make a mark very lightly all the way around the centres where these black pieces are, the centres of my flowers. So you can see I've got 4 there all together. So I'm just putting a little thing so that when I take that off, can you see that just about? Some little dots really. And that shows me that that's where the centre of my flowers is. Okay, so as I said, we could paper piece it. We could colour it like I did with Copic markers, or indeed, we could go for a more minimalist. So I'm taking Distress Ink Bundled Sage. I've got a mini brush, and I'm just going to pick up the colour, and wherever I've popped those little dots, so here, I'm just going to go from the middle, and I'm going to put a splodge of my green. Now it's green because I want it to be green, but in this case you could do your mauves, your pinks, or any other colour that you fancy your flower to be. So I'm going to go to my other little blob that was here. I'm starting in the centre and working out, but moving out, but only a little bit. I'm not going to go mad. I don't want it to be all green. But I can start at the centre, because the centre is going to be covered by these black pieces, if you recall. So I've got one more down here. I found by drawing it, or just putting a little pencil mark, it was quite easy to see where it was. Now, put a little bit more over there. I'm not going to worry about rubbing off the pencil marks because I don't think that you can see them. But when I pop that over there and hold it back into place, you can see that I now have got some beautiful coloured, but just a little bit, some flowers. Okay. What are we looking ones? Hold on a second. What are we looking for that we can't find? I can't find the sentiment dice. I don't think they're on there at the moment. I will put them on there. I realised as I was coming live that I haven't done them, so I do apologise. Sorry. I will put them on there, I promise. Done my flowers. Now, if you recall, on the other one, we had a little bud here, there and there, and we've got some little leaves. So what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to spray glue for quickness the back of my black piece and pop that on. And obviously it fits exactly. So let's just fit that on. And then I will be easily able to see where those buds and things are. And what I'm going to do for that is I'm going to take an acrylic block. I'm going to rub some bundled sage ink onto it so that's just a little bit there. I'm going to take my very, very thin, can you see that? Just not much more than a pencil, is it really? And just dab that into some ink, pick it up. So it's the same colour green. And just where the leaves are, I'm colouring through, just like I was doing with the oh goodness me, alcohol markers. I'm just colouring through with the leaves, and because my flowers have got that green in, I'm going to make the buds green as well, just so that that shows up a little bit. So I just wiped a little bit of the distress ink onto my acrylic block, dipped my paintbrush into some paint, some water, and then went with it like that. So nothing rocket science or anything. Just trying to see if there's any other leaves. I think that's about it. So that's that. That's all ready to go, which I think is very, very pretty. And then I'm going to grab back my card base here. And first of all, before I do anything else, I'm going to take my white piece of card and I'm going to grab my scoreboard. And I'm going to turn my piece of card around the other way so that I'm now working on it from the back. And I'm going to start at about 3/4 of an inch, but that can vary. That doesn't matter. Now my card is good quality, so I can afford, if you see what I mean, to press down quite firmly. But clearly some card is not quite so robust. So just be a little careful. I'm going to then go every 1/8, I think, isn't it? I think it's 1/8. I haven't got anyone here to help me and tell me whether it's 1/8 or not. Every mark, anyway, for about 4 times. So all I'm doing is just running my, you see that? Running that down. And I'm going to turn it so that it's on the long edge. And I'm going to come in and start this one at about 1 1/4 inches and do 4 lines on there every 1/8 of an inch. I'm not even looking, but will someone tell me it is? So just a little mark. I'm just going over it twice because I think that my card will take it. And then when I turn this over, hopefully you will then see. Can you then see that lines there? I want to make those a bit more, sorry, gonna do those a bit deeper. That's better. That's better. See what I mean? Being white on white, it is hard to see that. But I think that just gives a really simple but different type of finish there. Okay, so I'm then going to stick that piece straight onto there. I could, of course, use the deboss side, but I'm using the emboss side. And I'm just going to put that onto there so you can see nicely then the deckled edge, but you can see that debossed line here. Pop that straight onto my card blank, and as I said, this one is a 5x7. So it puts that with, again, a little bit of an edge. I've then got my panel, and my panel is going to go in there. I do have to put a bit of foam on. Sorry. I wouldn't sleep at night if I didn't put a bit of foam on there, would I? I'm going to do it as black. But I could do it as anything. It's a 2mm foam. And then I'm simply going to put a sentiment down the bottom. So a little bit of extra glue. I will put the sentiments on, but I do know one of the reasons was they're not all available at the moment. I think what they've done is they've taken a lot off for TV, and then hopefully they put some back. And then I'm going to pop down here into this little section. I'm going to put the Art Deco Birthday Wishes sentiment, mainly because it fitted in so nicely, but of course any sentiment. I even thought you could do with sympathy and things. I know it's black, but all sorts. Really, really flat card. Yes, I've put a bit of foam on, but you needn't. And just putting a little bit of glue on there. And that fits nicely in that little section. If your sentiment was bigger, deeper, then I would just make these lines here a bit higher. But I think that it just goes from not the sublime to the ridiculous. I wasn't going to say it quite like that, but the same die can give you a really different look. So you go for not all three. Thank you, Sarah. You go for the outer one and then the middle section for here, and you get this beautiful pattern. Can be any color. Go to town on it. Paper piece it. Do the quilting. Might try and do that for you. Do the quilting for the background by embossing the actual die cut and everything beautifully. Looks lovely. Or very simply take out the panel, colour it in a different way again, just by rubbing a little bit of distress inks into the centres of your flowers, having marked them first just to be sure that their centres are going to be where they are. As I said, you don't have to have the ink rubbed off, not the ink, the pen rubbed off where I marked it, because I don't think you can see it at all really, even if you look very, very closely. So there you go, 2 beautiful cards from the collection, the latest collection by Sue Wilson. The one that I've used here today is Lena, so that's this one, Lena, and I also incorporated using the looped rectangles, which is a much bigger one. But you can see again, look at that, that's how thin it is in terms of going through the post and things like that, because they were always with this plastic shell, which is even better. It could be a really good sympathy card, couldn't it, I think? But yeah, sometimes we have to be, it's really difficult, isn't it, knowing, you know, how to do sympathy cards and making them so that they aren't too sort of sad. But I think that that would look nice for any occasion, really, just with a different sentiment. So I will endeavour to show you some more of them on Wednesday at 6 o'clock. And that will be something like the 21st. I've taken my calendar down. Maybe it won't be that. Maybe it'll be the 22nd. Who knows? But this Wednesday, I will be back with you at 6 o'clock. And then next Sunday at 6 o'clock will be the launch of the another new set of frames, which will match frames that we've had in the past. So the frames that come now can be intermixed with frames of the same size that we had last time. So I can't wait to show you those. It's going to be great. 21st. Thank you, Linda. It's the 21st. Okay. So thank you so much for joining me. Hope you have a good rest of the evening. Can't wait to see you again on Wednesday. Until then, take care, be good, and I'll see you soon. Thank you very much. Oh, sorry, thumbs up now. Yes, thank you, Linda. Just before we went, could I ask you, please, down here somewhere, I keep forgetting to say it, there's a little thumbs up. Thank you for the person that just did it, because I could see that someone had then. Could you remember? Because it's really helpful. Thank you. Yeah, you're doing it. Just remember that that really, really helps with all sort of algorithmic type of things. So yeah, remember every time, that's what we need to see from you, please. Your little part to join in. Small Hexagon will be back, but not for another about 3 weeks, Sarah. Unfortunately, Chinese New Year means things are really delayed coming from China. They are getting back to work, but by the time I actually get it, I'm not expecting it for about 3 weeks maximum, hopefully just 2 weeks. But yes, they are coming back. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. See you soon. Thank you for the thumbs up. Bye.